YouTube, what the crap's going on, and welcome back to Total War Rome Remastered. So yes, another embargo has dropped. I can now show you up to 75 turns into any campaign. I'm going to keep playing the Carthage campaign right where I left off. If you have not seen the first episode of this, you can go check it out. I will leave a link in the video description where you can go see it so you can get caught up to this point. And so, yeah, let's keep playing. Bommelkar is needing to go score a victory against this small and pathetic Roman force. We will do so. I've had a few questions from people that popped up. Honestly, there was a ton of comments on the first video because it got an absolute ton of views because YouTube decided, hey, we think that your video is going to make us money, so we're going to show it to everybody. And for the first time in forever, I got a ton of views. I guess that's just how it works. YouTube decided that I was worth it all of a sudden. One of the questions they asked was, are there still general speeches? So, well, you just saw it. Yes. The answer is yes. So the general speeches are still there. Some people said, how come there wasn't an intro? How come they cut out the... There is intros. They have asked us, at least up previous to this point, they had asked us not to show them because they weren't completed yet. So yes, there is intros in the game. So yeah, that was a couple of the basic questions that people asked. Basically saying, you know, asking some of the... I thought they were good questions, whether or not that stuff was still there, and I wanted to answer it. Now, there were some questions that I thought, or comments I should say, it wasn't really as much of a question. There were comments that I thought were a lot less intelligent, which I guess is just happens. And of course, it's a point of view. You can disagree with me, but one of the comments that I got, and it was a rather odd one, is like, oh, the original game looked so much better. And he wasn't talking about the UI and stuff. This particular person was commenting that, like, somehow the textures and stuff, the new textures, updated, looked worse than the old ones. That is just objectively false. Like, the new textures are at 4K, and they objectively look better than the old ones because they have more pixels and more. So I don't know. Anyway, that was a weird comment. Most of the comments were great though, and I very much appreciated them. So thank you very much. Yeah, let's get started. Let's go kill some Romans.
New troops have arrived on the battlefield.
Dadgum hill campers.
Send them to the point of crisis.
Should have guessed. I'm gonna stick all my cavalry into a single group, and we'll just go rout these guys. Should be easy. Here we go. Fast forward. I've got my garrison coming in to help, but we don't really need their help. This is going to be an easy victory. Easy victory. I gotta run my units up here. I want to stay out of pillar range, ideally. So I'm going to fast forward again, just kind of run my units around. Like I said, we're not going to sit still and let them throw any pilla at me. If we charge the Romans head on, we'll take a lot of damage, but if we kind of feint charge them, we should be able to accomplish what I want. So we'll just use a whole lot of clicking to get our way here. Made like the Parthia charge noise. Anyway, I charged downhill into these Romans, and it did catch them and defeated them. I was going to bring in other units to continue said charge, but that was just a Postati unit, as Sweet Maximus used to call them. I miss him. Wish he was still on YouTube. Alright, and now we'll crush this other Postati unit. There we go. And victory. So I just didn't want to auto-resolve it because it was going to give the Romans way more than they deserve there. The auto-resolve in this game, some people are like, oh, they never fixed that auto-resolve. I mean, do we have a current Total War game where the auto-resolve functions properly? I mean, I'm still constantly having to fight battles. There's Shogun 2, Warhammer 2. Doesn't seem to matter which Total War game it is. I'm constantly manually fighting battles in it because the auto-resolve is complete and utter crap when it comes to what it can predict properly. Speaking of, we need to get back here and relieve... Hasdrubal needs to get back and relieve the siege of Lilybaeum. Shouldn't be difficult. The Romans are course, going to run because they're overmatched in that regard. We've pushed them back. I'm kind of thinking I've still got a general, which is my faction heir. I've still got him in Carthage, so I think I'm going to leave this general up here at Carolus to keep fending off the inevitable stacks of Julii Romans that continue to come down here. I think we can lay an ambush, though, in this terrain. Let's see. Let's see if it works.
Waiting to ambush.
Yep, sweet. All right, we're gonna lay an ambush in that terrain, and be ready for the A. I'm so glad they changed that and added that into this game. That is a nice addition. We are sieged over here at Cordoba as well by the Spanish, or the Iberians, as we would have known them in Rome 2. Probably a much more historically accurate name, but whatever, Spaniards. Going down. I guess this is all folks who were the early ancestors of the Spaniard from the Gladiator movie, no doubt. Anyway, I'm going to leave the load screens and stuff in this time so you all can see them, see what the game looks like. Again, some of you may like videos better where you can watch like a highly polished, edited, and scripted take from a YouTuber, and if that's the case, that's fine. No problem with that. I hate making those kind of videos personally. I don't like watching those kind of videos personally. Again, it's not meant in offense towards the YouTubers who make them, because I like a lot of YouTubers who make that stuff. It's just not my favorite thing to watch. And they could easily say the same thing about my content. That's fine. I don't take offense by it. Everybody has their own preference. What I like to do is just play the game. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to play the game, and I'm going to let you judge for yourself whether or not you think this game is worth your while. That's how I like to approach early access situations, is just play the game, let the game speak, you make your decision based on what you see, rather than what I say, or script, or find, or whatever else it is. And again, like I said, not meant to cut down anybody who does it differently. I'm just saying that's the way I do it. Alright, here we go. Let's see. Now, the AI, some people may have noticed, and I've actually seen some questions about this too. Some people saying, did they reform? Sorry, had to get that sneeze out. The people asking, did they make the AI better? I don't know specifically. They certainly could have. People talked about pathfinding inside the settlement, and like, I don't understand how pathfinding's still so bad. I do want to say, and again, take this with a grain of salt because my memory's not perfect. I do want to say that Farrell mentioned this a couple of weeks ago whenever they first, brought the game to our attention in a private, non-public session. And I think that they did mention pathfinding and how they had tried to make it better. And I know one person said, I don't understand why the pathfinding isn't just way better. I mean, this game's so old, they should be able to fix it. I want to say that they actually said it was some kind of challenge with the engine of the game itself that they were struggling with, but that they felt like they had improved it. Again, I don't have a perfect memory. I could be wrong on this. I think that's what was said. If I'm wrong, then I apologize. But like I said, I want to say they mentioned it, and if I remember right, it was something to the order of it's more difficult than you might think to completely change certain things. And I don't know. I don't develop games. I don't understand it. Don't claim to understand it, and I'm not going to claim to understand it. Let's see. We got Town Militia, Scutari, Skirmishers in the back. I'm going to go ahead and start shooting the Scutari, which is a light javelin-armed infantry. Go ahead and move my cavalry over here. I'm going to fast forward for a minute. Let the Balearic Slingers do their work. They're going to start tearing into the Scutari. And they've already gotten some good casualties inflicted to it. Depending on the type of shield the unit has in this game, they can really resist a lot of missile fighting. See, like, these Slingers have a shield. Not a very good one at 2, but like, for instance, the Sacred Band Infantry, by juxtaposition, has a 5 shield, and it is very difficult to damage them from the front. You can see the Scutari here have a 5 shield as well. So when I'm shooting at the front of them, I will expend quite a bit of ammunition sometimes without a lot of great effect. So just be aware of that as you're playing this game. Like, if you're not familiar with it, for instance, that is similar to newer Total War games in terms of having missile block chances and stuff from a shield. Obviously, probably an older system of doing it, but similar mechanic. I'm gonna charge back in over here. And another thing I think for people to always continue to remember is that the battles in this game are fast and furious, meaning that rear charges, flank charges, and stuff will cause routes. Use that to your advantage when you play the game. Some people, again, may be thinking, well, I don't like that. That doesn't seem like it's very much improved. Nah, the game stays true to itself. This is how it played back in the day, and this is how it continues to play now. So I actually kind of like this. This was how I was used to playing the game, and it, to me, isn't something that really... I mean, if it was going to be remastered, then certainly would need a toggle switch, because, I mean, I kind of like certain features of the old game, and I like that I can play it, and it behaves similarly in many ways and stuff like that. Now, some people may see that as a downside and say, oh, well, these old AI and the way they play in these battles just aren't very good. They should have made it better or newer. But then it's not really a remaster. It's a remake when you go down that road. And those are two different things, in my opinion. I'm going to continue for just a second and hunt down a bunch of these routing units so that this particular garbage army has to go home and think about the sins that they've committed against the Carthaginian Empire. There we go. All right, we're going to exit the battle, get our clear victory. Corduba is freed from its siege, which is good news indeed. But yeah, I think there's a difference between a remake and a remaster. And this game very much to me feels like a remaster. Like, for the most part, it feels like I'm playing the original game. A few small tweaks, some changes, but for the most part it feels like I'm playing the original game. And I think that was probably mostly their intent, right? Is to... You're going to keep all the basic things that make this game Rome Total War, and you're going to get rid of the things that people really can't stand about the original, like the original controls and camera controls and having to use the arrow keys and stuff like that. I mean, like, just get rid of that trash, for sure. But keep the things that made the game great and memorable, even if they were a bit quirky. I have to admit that the AI in this game is definitely a bit quirky, but... I don't know. Like I said, as I've been playing it, it does sometimes kind of add to the nostalgia to kind of remember how the AI works and how to take advantage of it and stuff like that. So anyway, we'll talk about it as we go along. But I'm curious to continue to see your thoughts. I got a ton of comments in the first video from people with their thoughts. A lot of people very excited. Some people not so excited. Some people would have rather seen like Medieval 2 remastered, all this other stuff. So a lot of understandable comments that came in. I think I can see both sides of the argument. Personally, I'm excited for this, and some people think that I just get excited about every Total War launch. To be fair, that's probably for the most part true. It's probably for the most part true. I would say that it's not totally inaccurate to say that I'm pretty much a fan of Total War, period. So yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate statement. Now, if I see something glaringly and blatantly bad, sure, I'll call it out, but I don't typically approach videos like this or new games like this with a very pessimistic attitude. I would say that I'm probably a pretty optimistic person, and I like to stay fairly optimistic until it's proven otherwise, and at least at the moment, for sure, I feel very optimistic about this game in terms of I play it and I have fun. I can't obviously leave a review or like an overall score, but like I'm playing the game in its early release, and I'm having a lot of fun with the game in its early release, and I can guarantee you one thing: were there not a remaster of Total War Rome, I would not be playing it right now. Why? Because the controls are complete and utter, like butt crack. Terrible. And I wouldn't play it just for that reason. And some people may think that's crazy. It is what it is. Like, I mean, I definitely would not play the game on that reason alone. And so it is something that I'm quite serious about, and I'm quite happy about with this remaster, is that it makes it where I can have fun with this game again. Like I said, it's still pretty much the old game, the way I remember, but I can have a lot more fun with it because the controls are no longer this horrible detriment that just turned me off of ever wanting to play it. Let's go ahead and start doing some recruiting. It's not going to hurt to have some extra troops around at Carthage. Let's see, did I ever get a heavy ship? Yeah, I got a few heavy ships into this fleet. You can see these guys delivering more Julii troops. I don't know what this Scipii commander was thinking, not fleeing farther away than this, but he's gonna die. This is Aulus Scipio, a general. It's age 19, so this is obviously probably not their faction leader. It would say so, I think, over here, but he's certainly not giving his faction a good name. And I'm gonna put some elephant prints across him and his men, and let them know that Sicily belongs to Carthage. And despite what happened in actual history, in this history of my game, they're gonna learn that Carthage is the dominant force on Sicily. Oh boy, though, real life Carthage and Sicily. It was a tale of one pathetic defeat after another for Carthage and Sicily.
Strike hard.
Really quite sad.
Leave the fallen. Go forward with courage.
I mean, unless you're a Roman, and then you probably really like the Carthaginian history in the Carthaginian history in Sicily. Oh no! Stop it! There we go. Oh, I forgot that I can put the Scutari in here. Or no, that's a Peltist unit. Put my Balearics and Peltast slightly in front, like that. I'm gonna take the pikes out of phalanx mode. I'll put them into a phalanx just before we enter combat. Cav down one flank, elephants on the other, and I'll support the elephants with some Numidian cavalry. Alright, let's take our group up here and start punishing the Romans, shall we? I love where your faction leader's bodyguard gets huge whenever they've gained more skill and like experience. I think that's really cool. It's a cool way to make generals more powerful without making the single entity of the general himself more powerful. Like, as you can see him here on the edge of my bodyguard. He is no more powerful than the rest of the bodyguard, but his bodyguard unit as a whole is quite powerful because of his experience. So I'm going to get the attack underway here. The enemy general actually YOLO'd straight in, and again, that is typical even in Total War titles for today. And he is fleeing already because he got overwhelmed. And I did have pike support there. Don't underestimate an enemy general's bodyguard, though. They can definitely jack you up real bad. They can jack you up real bad. Especially like barbarian warlords and stuff. Like they have very powerful bodyguards against sword infantry that's low tier. So like I said, never underestimate those units. You will pay for it. I think did the enemy general die? No, I didn't. He did. He's still there. There he goes. Alright, that was my objective in chasing that unit. He's dead now. So no more point in chasing. Oh gosh, let's not throw all those friendly javelins at my... Right, my hoplites are way too slow for this fight right now, but don't matter too much. Also, another thing you probably don't ever want to do, you probably don't ever want to charge your bodyguard straight at a heavy infantry unit, because your general can die on impact, and will sometimes. It doesn't usually happen, but it certainly can happen. And so you definitely need to be careful of it. Anyway, let's end that battle and get back out to the campaign map. Okay, so here we are, back out on the map. I was having to look at something else real quick, so apologize for the short delay there. Wasn't trying to be dramatic with the pause. I'm imagining the Julii will team up and move towards my settlement soon. I'm actually bring my navy back and do some retraining on it. Let's head back in here. The one thing I wish that they wouldn't have kept from the old game too, so you know how we updated the UI and the textures and other stuff? I actually really hate the replenishment system. And I may have mentioned this in my last video, but I really hate the replenishment and recruiting system. I wish they would have made a remastered version of that and then had a radio button to have it be original versus remastered, because the way that units replenish in modern Total Wars is just better than the way you have to do it in this game. And so, like, for instance, if I build up Carthage and I get Sacred Band infantry from Carthage, and I go over here and get in a fight on Sicily, and nowhere over here has an awesome temple to Baal, I can't replenish it unless I go all the way back to Carthage. The only other option I have is to recruit individual units, stick them on boats, sail them over, and tail my army, and then merge units. And yes, you can do that, but that is a ton of work for the player. and it's just kind of ridiculous. So I wish that that is something that they would have done that they did not, and I think it's a little disappointing to me. Not enough to get me like overly disappointed about the game as a whole, but certainly enough to be a bit disappointing, at least in my book. That's the only thing I can retrain there right now. Let's go ahead and...
Yes, mighty lord.
See, is my emissary here. Who's got the Greeks under siege? I guess it must be the Scipii, right?
To hear is to obey.
Yeah. Went to Scipio here. General. This must be their faction leader. Yep, Cornelius Scipio is at Messana, so that would actually be a great opportunity for me. He's got multiple Hastati units, but the rest of his army is pretty pathetic. Pretty pathetic. I can retrain my Iberian infantry at Lily Biome, so I'm going to go ahead and move into the settlement for a moment and retrain all these units. And then get ready to go strike Cornelius Scipio over here. Try and put an end to their power on Sicily early. That would be ideal, at least. Okay. So yeah, I'm thinking about where we want to expand to. The Numidians are pretty easy pickings, and their lands are pretty easy to defend. There is a rebel settlement down here, which would be easy picking as well. So we just kind of need to build up a little army in Carthage with our faction heir here, and take him out and start going to capture some settlements. It can be a bit tedious to hold settlements of a different culture, but the Numidians are technically classified into the same culture as Carthage in this one. So taking their settlements is rather easy. You don't have to do a lot of rebuilding or a lot of other effort to hold on to them. So I think that that'll be beneficial for us in the end to work on, so that is what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and end this turn. Let our diplomat keep moving towards Alexandria. I'd like to get trade rights and map information. So it looks like we've gotten an ambush here. But it thinks the Romans are going to win. That's pretty laughable. Pretty laughable indeed. They have a decent bodyguard unit, but I have far more cavalry than them, and I'm going to make them pay. So let's fight this battle. They probably combined both their forces, I think, that got dropped off. We need to avoid also using up the population of Carolus very much, because the sooner we can get Carolus improved into a larger settlement, the better. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to surround their Hastati units with Iberian infantry and try and put a pinch on them. And I will leave... I'll leave one round shield cavalry there. And then I'll try to pin their general's bodyguard in from both sides. We'll do something like this, where I can try to collapse in on the enemy as best I can. Alright, so we'll do something like this. Yeah, their bodyguard's taken off like an idiot in the direction that I don't want him to. So I'm going to try and pounce on him from this direction. Already got a chain route going. The bodyguard's surrounded now too. And although he'll last for a second, he shouldn't last long. There we go. Yeah, the outflanking happened quickly. Excellent. So always, 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 always. Did I mention always? Outflank on Total War Rome Remastered. Because it's incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. So like right there, sure, if I had gone head to head and let my infantry fight against the Romans, they'd lose. But I didn't. So you are playing the role of the Carthaginian, much like Hannibal many years before us. Best way to deal with the Romans is by stratagem, and don't fight on their terms. And that is very much the case in this game, is don't fight on the terms that they would want. I'm going to massacre as many of the fleeing Romans as possible. And it looks like that'll pretty much be most all of them. There's this one unit running this way. Let's go pick them off a little. My bodyguard is over getting another one. There we go, ran them down.
The enemy lie dead before you.
I only had 7 soldiers remaining, which is 7 too many, but at least we have gotten the job done there. I love this tip here at the bottom. Press the, whatever that key is, to open up Rome Shell. Cheat your way to victory. Yeah, the game is encouraging you to cheat. Hey, I didn't do it, folks. CA put that in there themselves. Yes, the cheats are still there. See? The old Rome Shell. So yeah, they left that in there too. I really like having this ability to lay an ambush here. That is quite handy. Only train town militia at that one. Careless is at 962 residents. We need 2,000 in order to have town growth. Carthage is already a minor city, which is probably, you know, I have an idea, and this is actually something you could do back in the day, is you could keep training units in order to eat up some of the city population when you had a city that was growing too fast. Now, of course, I think they have capped penalties from... They've capped penalties from squalor? I'm going to take all this army, and we're going to go hunt down the Scipio faction leader if he's still there. I think he's still there. Yeah, he is. Oh, Cornelius Scipio. We're gonna teach him the same lessons that Hannibal taught to the Scipios, which was that they sucked. And that it finally took one of them, like, I don't remember, like over a decade, and everything else going against Hannibal to finally defeat him. You might be saying, hey, he got defeated by a Scipio. Yeah, finally. Like, I mean, how many Scipios did he whip before that? How many other Romans? Yeah, so color me not impressed. People always ask me, well, if Scipio Africanus beat Hannibal, he must have been a lot better. Nah, I don't really think he was. I think he had the benefit of having a better military organization in Rome and more resources. And he also had the benefit of being able to have Hannibal kick the crap out of everybody else before he had to fight him. And learning all the lessons that everybody else learned while they got their butt kicked by Hannibal. And then he finally had Hannibal at his worst, right? Hannibal didn't have all of his best troops. He didn't have everything running the way he wanted to, and finally he faces Hannibal in a very disadvantageous situation for Hannibal, and does manage to win. I'll credit him that, he did manage to win. But I'm just saying that I don't think Scipio Africanus fares any different than the rest of his Roman brethren had he faced him early on, like right when he crossed the, what do you call the river, the Po or whatever it was that he crossed up there and then ended up defeating them. So no, I don't think Scipio Africanus was a particularly talented general, in the same regard that Hannibal was. I think Hannibal was on a totally different tier. And some people are like, well, he beat him. That doesn't. It does make sense. Think about it. Like, just think about it for a while. It's kind of like if you have a great commander and you gave them a really crappy force and all the worst situations, and then you had a really, a really good commander, and that's what you gave them, and you had a really crappy commander, but you gave them, like, the current U.S. military to fight against a really crappy force, and they win, and you're like, well, he must have been the better commander. Yeah, I think you can see where I'm going there, right? So, the Roman military at the time was very well organized, very well supported, an excellent system of conscripting troops. So Rome won, in my opinion, against Carthage a lot in the regards of just how they chose to operate their republic and their military. I think it had a lot less to do with them besting Hannibal, because I don't think they ever really did in that regard. But they did obviously have the superior system of army training, recruitment, and mentality, and all that kind of stuff, which is not to discredit it. It clearly won them the wars, right? So it's not to discredit it and act like it wasn't important, because it clearly was, because it helped them win a victory against a commander who was clearly their superior. But against a republic that was clearly their inferior in terms of the way they ran themselves. So, fun stuff. I love talking about Carthage and Rome. Good times. Some people might think I just disrespect Rome because of the way that I kind of act towards them out of spite, you know, a lot because I just like Carthage. But no, I definitely respect and love learning about ancient Rome as well, too. They had a lot of very impressive achievements and organizations and stuff like that, so definitely not me just constantly crapping on Rome, even though I do it as often as possible just for fun. So, let's see here. We got plenty of cash flow going around. I'm gonna go ahead and build a port at Cordoba. And I can keep training Iberian infantry here, so I'm gonna go ahead and train a couple. Beef up my garrison at Cordoba a little. And Carthage is still training. This is good. That's what I want. And our fleet is retrained. Should probably have more than one fleet too, though at the moment I'm not terribly concerned about it. So yeah, let's go ahead and end another turn here. Or actually, no, we don't need to end another turn. Let's start fighting the Romans, defeating them here. Should have a pretty easy opportunity to defeat them, I think. Adversity reveals the genius of a general. Good fortune conceals it. See, Horus knows what I was just talking about, right? Horus knows what I was just talking about. Adversity. Taking an all-mercenary army. Not having your own republic fully support you. Walking through the snowy mountains. Defeating your enemy over and over and over again on their own territory. That is adversity. Scipio Africanus, I don't think, had to face that type of adversity. So I think Horus pretty much just summed up what I was thinking a minute ago. Love to hear what you all think on it, though. I know there's going to be some Scipio fanboys out there, but that's okay. I mean, I'm making it obvious who I'm a fanboy of. I'm not denying being a fanboy. All right, here we go. I just personally have not been, like, as I read history and stuff, most of the Roman leaders, just from a military prowess, they don't really impress me much. And I think that it's because there were so many other commanders from so many other factions back then that were just had far more impressive achievements and prowess. Like, I mean, I can look at Alexander the Great, look at Hannibal, I can look at Pyrrhus of Epirus, like so many more commanders to me that seem to have, like, a lot more skill. Now, were there a few skilled Romans? I think so. I think Trajan was a pretty good commander. I think that obviously Caesar must have had some skill to do what he did. I think he was probably very good at sieging, which was definitely a necessary skill for defeating someone. Clearly, Hannibal could have taken some lessons in that regard. But yeah, just most of the Romans, I'm just not very impressed overall with their ability to lead. I think that they, like I said, were the subjects of good fortune, meaning that they had an excellent system and military setup, which again is an important part of any war. If your system sucks, then you can expect to lose, much like Carthage did. Ooh, we got a good charge against those Hastati, immediately broke them. Let's transfer our units over here. Got a nice flank charge here, charge from behind. They're crushed. Let's get these guys. Let's drop our pike phalanx. But they went ahead and routed before we even needed the phalanx. Alright. Not really surprised how badly we are beating down the Romans. I'd like to not lose any elephants here. Better watch the javelins off my own Numidians. I'm going to charge the Scipio Hastati from behind. Ooh, they actually started throwing their javelins at the last second. That's not what I want. Because I don't want to lose elephants. They are difficult to replenish. Kind of expected these units would have routed already, but they have not. Oh, we lost an elephant. How sad. Alright, well, let's get in here and support my elephants before we lose more. There we go. He dead. He's dead. I probably should have waited a little bit before I charged those elephants in, just to keep them. They're very powerful units. They can die, obviously. They're not invincible, but they will do a lot of killing, given the opportunity. And especially in a flank charge. And they did technically get a rear charge. There was just a lot of Roman infantry in that fight, and that's probably why we lost an elephant. Plus, they did get some Pilum off. And Pila do cause a lot of damage. Don't underestimate those Pila. If you can avoid Pila Storm, then avoid it as best you can. Actually, a little interesting bit of history itself there with the Pila. Very interesting weapon, very effective. Again, gotta give Romans credit where their credit is due. And the Pila was a very, very nice implementation of war. So we can go ahead and assault the settlement because we have elephants. That'll make my elephants very tired to do so. I'll just wait a turn and construct a ram. I think we can construct a few of them in one turn, so let's maintain the siege here. And we'll go after that Roman general. Let's make sure. So every settlement that can build something is building something. At Carthage, I'm in the process of recruiting another army. I'm recruiting troops at Lilybayou, or actually I can see all this from here as well. At least I think we can. Yeah, so we're recruiting at Carthage, Lilybayou, and Corduba, which I think is the appropriate places to be doing so. Thapsus could probably use some extra garrison, assuming I can recruit the right stuff. I can. And this population's growing quite quick anyway. It wouldn't hurt me to go ahead and drop a little more defenses here. So let's do that and end the turn. Because we can afford the upkeep. You can always get attacked by small armies. Like Numidia will probably betray us or other people. And it's good to have a decent little garrison in, because with even just a decent garrison, you can accomplish quite a lot against the enemies that you have. Spain wants a ceasefire. They think this is very generous. Can I get trade rights off of them? Give me all your map information. And then I want compensation for the war. Hang on, what's this? Spain pay a suitable price to rectify past transgressions against Carthage. And then, can we make them also give me a regular tribute of like 500 denarii, like 5 turns? They still think it's generous. Okay, good. Let's get back. Oh, no. Regular tribute. 500 for like 10 turns. Let's make them pay me 5,000. They still think it's generous. All right, you know, I could probably weasel a little more out of them, but let's just take this. Let's make the offer. I'll be nice to them. So they are paying a regular tribute to me. Excellent. That'll get them off my back. Give me a little cash. They'll betray me again soon enough, but my city will be larger, and I will be more ready to strike out and take their territory at that point. This will allow me to focus here in Sicily and at Corsica and Sardinia. They're careless. Still doing some recruiting there, recruiting here. We've got some rebel scum out here we need to kill. No doubt. Got this army as well. I kind of hope the Scipii could win this siege, though I'm not really expecting much from them. I think we've seen how they are able to command so far. If the Scipii could win that siege, then I could take the entirety of Sicily without having to declare war on the Greek cities. Typically, the Greek cities in Carthage certainly would have had some war, though. Alright, 2 faction leaders facing off. Cornelius Scipio against Hasdrubal of Carthage. It's excellent. This is what we want right here. Good old-fashioned battles. The siege battles on this game, the pathfinding inside the settlements was terrible and kind of still is terrible. Again, I want to say that I heard them say that that's just something to do with the engine.
Joined, remember, my noble
I do not
soldiers,
know that for sure.
They have fear in their hearts. Fear of you.
Good. They better fear us. I want to hear that the Roman eagle is a Roman chicken thing. Oh, look, their gate's already open. Fantastic. Let's still run the rams, though. The Romans are just going to camp out on their... That general is going to be hard to kill, because we're going to have to kill him to the last man. Just another old fun fact here, in case you're not familiar with Total War Rome. When units are fighting on their victory point at the town square, they fight to the death. So if they're within these flags, they fight to the death. They won't rout. So be prepared for some epic showdowns and plan accordingly. You know, like don't throw your units in to that type of situation where the enemy won't quit fighting and they leave you terribly damaged. We're going to use our hoplites here to very good effect. We're going to be very glad we have them in this fight, and I'll show you why. Because their pikes are just an absolute wood chipper from the front. Give you all a demonstration. I'm going to fast forward as our rams bang through the walls. This is kind of a fun way to siege, admittedly. I mean, some people complain about the sieges in Warhammer. They're not good. I don't think the sieges in this game are amazing, by the way. Like, I don't think they're just insanely impressive. There's more to them than a Warhammer siege. You can't just walk through walls with ladders like you can on the newer games, and in some ways that probably is a good thing. I don't know how to fix sieges, folks. I really don't. I have ideas that I think would make them better, but who knows whether I'm right or wrong.
The enemy have lost the walls.
Go ahead and walk through the
Send
gates
your troops and take the rest of the settlement.
while my rams finish the walls. Elephants are particularly difficult to maneuver inside a settlement, as are large cavalry units.
Luck and the gods smile upon you. The enemy walls
Excellent.
are breached.
Alright, we've knocked down their pathetic walls. Only Romans could design such terrible walls. Okay, I'm just kidding, I know. Actually, Romans were pretty spectacular when it came to use their army for building stuff. They were pretty impressive. But hey, I like to run them down, just because we're at war with them right now, so... Move my general that way. Take our elephants in and move this way. Pull some infantry in. Start moving down the middle of the streets. Alright, so I'm trying to move my hoplites in formation where the AI has no way of getting around my flank. And if I can get these cavalry or other units into a front-on engagement with my hoplite phalanx, they are going to suffer massively. Again, for those of you less familiar with this game, engaging a phalanx from the front with anything else besides an equally powerful phalanx is almost always a near suicide. There are occasions where that's not true, but it is typically true. So be aware. Alright, yeah, these guys are about to get absolutely shredded. Oh, nope. They broke up my phalanx a little. This is unfortunate for me. They would normally get absolutely shredded. Get those pikes out. Get the pikes out. Yeah, see, because a lot of my units are being forced to fight with a sword instead of a pike, this fight is not going near as well for me as it should. That is also just part of the consequence of trying to fight in this urban setting. So a phalanx is a lot less than useful in this urban setting. You can see my hoplites now actually dying in droves to the Roman general. Let's get our cavalry over here. Yeah, this is unfortunate. So my pikes just couldn't stay in formation, so they're going to get owned. Good news is we will kill some of the Roman general. Bad news is I wasted my mercenary hoplites. And it's, like I said, as much a pathfinding issue as it is anything right here. Yeah, it's mostly a pathfinding issue. You can tell by the way they're getting squished around here and stuff. But if... Oh, dang. My guys routed before my next infantry units got there. That's unfortunate. I was hoping that they would hold their ground until reinforcements came, but I didn't have my reinforcements close enough. Let's go ahead and just throw some Iberians at the Roman general as well. Just kind of wear him down a little. Just wear him down a little. Elephants, let's start moving in from this direction. If we can get lucky, we might be able to pin the enemy general in the street. I'm going to attempt it. And throw some javelins. Yeah, you can see my Iberian infantry are going to have a fight of their lives. But eventually the Roman general will get worn down. See, he's getting winded. My troops don't pierce armor well, and they have bad morale, and so the Roman general will hold his own very well here, for the most part. And expectedly so. This is not particularly AI cheating or anything right here, right? This is actually expected. Especially since my pike phalanx couldn't stay in formation. Or sorry, my, not a pike phalanx, but my hoplite phalanx couldn't stay in formation, so rather expected. Oh! Take that! Now, see, we're not going to allow their cavalry unit to route back to the town square and fight to the death. So that is going to be our objective here, is to kill it right here in the street. Do not let them rout. I'm going to cease fire with the Peltist. Don't kill my general. Ugh, yeah, see, that was risky. I lost a few of my own units. All right, hunt them down, hunt them, kill them. Kill all of them. Don't let them get back and fight to the death. All right, my elephants are all screwed up in terms of their pathfinding. Okay, we killed the Roman general as an entirety. Let's bring up our infantry and attack the Hastati. Once I fix the Hastati with my infantry, then we'll charge in with cavalry. Ooh, took a Pila volley there. That is not what I wanted. That was ugly. Alright, now the Hastati will fight to the death, but I can at least outflank them. So when you are forced to fight these town square type battles, do your best to get around the flanks and really give the enemy as many flanking charges as you can. The pathfinding's bad, it's difficult sometimes, I get it, but do your best to do this. It will save you a lot of losses in the end. Because like I said, when these units fight to the death, you can take some pretty egregious losses. Now, you can also use this to your advantage. Like, for instance, if you're playing the Greek city-states and you surround this town square with a pike phalanx, like you outline it with your pike phalanx, but there's no way for them to get in, you're going to be near impervious on the town square. Your guys won't rout, and they will be able to stand in their phalanx formation and just own the enemy. So you can use it to your advantage, and it can also be used against you if you're not careful. So, like I said, just do your best with it. The Hastati are getting absolutely owned. Let you watch them get tossed around a little. And there we go. We've captured Messana. Wasn't brilliant on my part, losing that hoplite unit, but we can recruit a new one probably. But we did manage to kill the Scipii faction leader, which will hurt them.
Ours, mighty one.
And we like it when we hurt Romans. At least in this campaign we do, because we're playing as Carthage. So let's start building our buildings in their place. I'm going to repair the walls first off. Let's look at the population. We're about to have a population boom here. There is a tier 2 barracks here. It says it, or sorry, yeah, right here. So we can replenish some of our units. Yep, right here. And then we can start training as well. And I'm going to go ahead and train. Actually, we can't train any more units, but I'll go ahead and train one more unit of Iberian infantry. You know, we have a pretty high population here in Messana right now anyway. Let's look at what else we can build, just to help convert culture. May not hurt to have a shrine to Baal here. We get a lot of public order benefits from it. So let's do that. Here we go. Messana. Got another army being trained here. So great, we took our first territory off the Romans. Managed to defend our own and then take some. So that is exactly what we want. Carthage. How's this army looking? Needs more infantry. Ooh, we've got another commander here too. That's really good. Let's send this commander down to Thapsus. Help the garrison there and to act as a governor. And let's continue recruiting from Carthage. Recruit more troops. Really get us some troops going. Cordoba. Some training there, so this will give us a 4th Iberian infantry unit. Not bad, not bad. We've still got a lot of buildings to do here too, so it's okay if my population isn't super high here. Go ahead and just make sure we pack in plenty of infantry, because you can get hit by some pretty large Gaul and Spanish armies. So we'll be building up our general in Carthage to go and attack Numidia, and then we'll continue the attack with our own faction leader here. He's really rather old, so eventually he's not going to be with us, and we'll probably have to take over with this guy here. So he wants to notify me of idle resources. I have an inactive diplomat. I think I need diplomacy with the Greek cities. Current treaties, trade rights. They are at war with the Romans, essentially. We offer an alliance. And they give me military access. Do they think that's demanding? I'll take the alliance. Compensation. Settle all grievances. Let's see if we can make an ally out of the Greek cities. So here's their offer. We have an alliance. We give them 480, which I guess settles past grievances. Offer a one-time payment. I don't want to offer them a payment. Can I? You know what? Let's just take it. It's not that much payment. I'm sitting on a lot of gold. Let's just make friends with the Greeks here. Alright, so now we have an alliance against the Romans with the Greeks. So this is good stuff. Good stuff indeed. I need a boat to take this character elsewhere, but for the moment, we'll just ignore him. Alright, let's go ahead. I'll take that. Alright, wasn't the best negotiating on my part. Probably could have gotten more for Carthage, but let's just say that I was being generous, and it wasn't due to stupidity. We can all imagine. Let's see here. Agent found in Numidian agent in Thapsus. I kind of expected this. Ooh, we had another coming of age here too, so... Or, I think that was a previous turn, that Basaltus. That's the one we sent down here. It's a good name. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but if I say it like Basaltus, you know, it's a very good name for Carthaginian. Very, very salty. Alright. Let's see. Let's check our building. Let's see. So, Lily Biome. Our building browser. We're gonna need to be able to train military units here, and so I think to have the stables would be important. And all these other things are important. I want them. I don't really need skirmishers. They're of low concern to me. But blacksmith would probably be useful on the next one. We'll see. I'm gonna build stuff one at a time just so I can keep a rather large treasury in case it's needed. And let's see, at Thapsus, it again might be good to have another recruiting spot to help support Carthage in case we need to raise an army faster. We don't want to get stuck just only being able to recruit one unit per turn. If we recruit between the two settlements, it will be far more powerful. Carolus still needs considerably more population before it can have any more building. Palma is now in the same boat, except they're a lot closer to our population. See, there's 1621, and we need 2,000 in order to upgrade the settlement. We are still building a port at Cordoba. And at Messana, we have finished our shrine to Baal. We can build the temple to Baal, which I think I will. Just to add some further... Actually, you know, let's just... Let's see here, what do I want to build next? Let's go ahead and build the temple to Baal. I think it's appropriate. It'll work. It'll work. I think for now we're good to just... Oh, the Scipii did take Syracuse. How fantastic. This is absolutely great for me and terrible for the Scipii. Oh, this is great news for me. Great news for me. All right, let's get these extra troops training. And I know it may cause a rebellion at Messana, but I want to attack Syracuse and attack it now. I'm going to move out of the settlement. This will leave Messana extremely upset because there's no garrison or anything else here to repress the angry populace that was just conquered by us. I don't know, imagine that. They don't like being conquered. Hard to believe. I don't really need any mercenaries, but hey, you know what? Let's just grab another unit just because we can. I'll probably disband some of these mercenaries later. And let's go besiege settlement. Now, we cannot attack them immediately. We can build siege towers, we can build sap points. Honestly, sap points are probably as good as anything here, so let's build a couple of sap points. And that'll only take one turn. Now we can continue the siege. Like I said, Messana is going to be very angry because we just captured it. And I've got no garrison to keep them repressed. They're still training at Carthage. check some of my other statuses here. Careless cannot build, Palma cannot build, but we are recruiting everywhere else we can. Let's end another turn. Though it says we have an idle fleet, and that we do. Oh, I'm not really sure that my fleet can do a whole lot more important, but maybe we can go blockade their docks just so that we can be busy. Alliance between Gaul and Scipii. Now that is interesting. So Gaul could be attacking us in Spain soon. But we allied with the Greek cities. Okay, the Saltes and Theodecles got married. Had some trait increases. And then we just have a whole bunch of reports that I haven't looked at here. I'm not really concerned about any of these. Alright, let's end our turn. Alright, so let's see. What happened on the turn end? Town grows. So Thapsus has grown. We had rioting in Messana. I am not surprised in the least that we had rioting in Messana. But you can see the public order did go up considerably. We need to repair the militia barracks, which is unfortunate because it also means that I can't recruit another unit to help with the garrison. So there'll probably be further rioting at Messana. Understandable. Can't really blame the people for that. I am going to go ahead and queue up the Governor's Palace once the stables is complete at Thapsus, because it grew. And let's take a look. Here, Carthage needs another construction project. And Carthage has also grown, so we can build this Counselor's Chamber, so we're going to do that. And are we still recruiting at Carthage? We are. So, despite my recruiting, we still grew in Carthage. Same at Thapsus, because these are rather large settlements and they're just growing at a pretty rapid clip. Still doing quite good on income. I may recruit some more troops here soon, as long as we feel like we can support it. With the taking of Syracuse, we probably can. Let's go ahead and assault Syracuse and take it off the Romans here. And once we finish this battle, I'll probably stop for this episode and just make another episode soon, kind of break these up. I think I'm allowed to have up to 4 videos and 250 minutes of footage as long as I don't go past turn 75 until the next embargo drops. And then obviously as these embargo drops, I'll be able to show you more and more from the game. But for now, I'm just having fun playing this Carthage campaign, and honestly, I probably want to play one all the way through, so, or at least until the point where we've conquered Rome. So I figured this would be an ongoing series on my channel, and certainly not a waste of my time.
And remember this above all: the gods watch us today. Be sure they are not ashamed by your actions. Now advance!
Yeah, they won't be ashamed. They'll be quite proud.
Await my order.
I will make them proud. Alright, we've got a couple of units who can sap. Now, again, those of you who are not familiar with the game, sapping points are supposed to represent like a little tunnel where you guys go underground and dig under the wall, and make the walls fall down. Doesn't make a lot of sense in a real-time battle like this, but actually was a tactic used back in the day for long-term sieges around settlements. So, it takes quite a while. You can see their arrow towers and other missile units are going to give me some grief. They have some Roman archers on the wall who are shooting at me right now. I have to get all my units down into the sapping point, and you can see they've dug up to the walls. And once all my units get down there, the sapping can begin, but obviously you take some damage in the process, representing that it wouldn't be easy for you to pull this off, obviously with the attackers potentially sallying out and all that kind of stuff. I lost a lot of Iberian infantry there. Y'all gonna get down there and take care of business? There we go. The walls are starting to crumble. And once we gain access to the city, there we go.
Walls are down, thanks to your skilled engineers. Order your men to attack!
Alright, the walls are down, thanks to our skilled engineers. Let's order our men to attack, as he suggested.
Hurry, units!
No. No elephants.
Double time.
Stay put.
Hurry! Hurry!
Let's bring our Balearic Slingers up to put some fire back on those Roman archers. Grab some extra infantry. I'm gonna make sure we get a clear path before I bring my general up. A lot of velites up on the walls here too. Let's fast forward, get my men all the way up to the walls. We'll get inside. And then I'll get up here and attack these velites. Have to attack the Hastati. I don't know what you're waiting on, but feel free to attack anytime you want.
We're under attack.
Infantry!
Move! Fire!
Another Hastati unit stacking up there. Let's get up here and kill these velites and take the tower. These towers can be pretty powerful, and you do have to get up on the walls to capture them. Alright, we're killing some of the Roman archers now, that's good. Get up there! Go get them! Freaking crap, getting shot to death. See if we can get some peltis fire in there, and let's... Bringing my elephants up right now just seems very risky, though. You can see my units now up on the walls fighting their velites in melee. I'm gonna send another unit up there to fight him in melee. Now I got extra units that are almost out of the sap points. It takes them forever to exit the sap points. Let these peltas continue to take a little fire. Got some weird sound going on in my headset. I don't know what it is. Some kind of sound glitch. If it's supposed to be that way, I do not know. Alright, I've got another unit of Iberians headed up the wall, so we'll easily be able to defeat their velites. Almost got all my Iberians back out of the sap point. I do over here, so let's send them in. I'm gonna get on these walls and start capturing towers so that they won't shoot me anymore. Hurry up, get out of there. These guys are gonna be a little bit tired from the sapping process. And my Iberian infantry here are getting overwhelmed by numbers. And I think Hastati are actually just a bit better than Iberian infantry, if I remember right.
We're being attacked.
Alright, my peltist have gotten in a few shots here, though. That's good. Oh yeah, so this Hastati unit just straight up beat us. That's not terribly surprising. They still control the gates, which really sucks, because I'm going to take a lot of arrows from that tower at the moment. I don't know where these guys are going, but... We should defeat the velites up here, right? We've captured the walls. That's good news.
Send your
So,
troops and take the rest
that's
of the
good. Oh, I was
settlement.
going to go capture this tower, too, because it's doing a lot of shooting. Actually, you know what? No. I need these infantry over here. Is that a waterfall I hear? It sounds like water. Where's that coming from? Is there a fountain? Huh. What it sounds like. I don't know where it's coming from or what's creating it. Alright, we are killing all the velites on the wall. I'm gonna send this peltis unit up, or sorry, the peltis, or I think the slingers and the peltis can be used to go start capturing some towers so that my units don't get shot up real bad. The arrows. I got our Iberians here. Oh, hey! Watch the Pila. Mind the Pila. Alright, let's go attack this Hastati unit. What does that leave the Romans with at this point? A bodyguard of 46 and a Hastati unit. Okay. Shouldn't be too difficult to deal with. These units off skirmish. Just kind of charge in all of our units if we can. Try and overwhelm the Romans. You guys don't need to be throwing javelins right now. That seems less than helpful, honestly. Be hitting a lot of friendlies. Alright, we're gonna go up and capture this tower. Should get a notification here any second. Capture it already. Get up here. Oh my gosh. Get on the freaking walls. Quit getting shot by the tower. Like, are we having a problem? We're getting absolutely owned by this tower. It's just absolutely murdering us because I can't get on the walls. Get up there. I can't get these dingbats on the wall. Alright, so my Balearic slingers are getting utterly murdered. Alright, well. Let's get our Iberians down. Okay, there they go. Finally. After almost all their unit was slaughtered, they climbed up the tower and captured it. I'm gonna run all the way over to here on the walls. That way my cleric slingers will... Whoa! When did that happen?
Now we will see the measure of his
How did he get killed by my Numidian cavalry? Did Numidian cavalry get a buff? Apparently. Holy mackerel. That was a mistake as well, but I'll take it. I wouldn't have expected Numidian cavalry to win that fight. I'm both impressed and also a little bit surprised. Let's let my Numidians throw their javelins at these Roman infantry. Trade a little javelin fire. And here comes my general. Syracuse will soon be ours. Yeah, pathfinding's still pretty bad around these town centers. You can see my unit kind of had to go out wide and get caught up there. Would be great if they could address that. Again, I don't know if it's possible, but if they could, it would be great. I would be a huge fan. They wanted to go ahead and take care of that for us. Alright, my elephants are in. Let's bring our general into rear charge as well. See if we can get rid of these Hastati before they cause any significant... Stop throwing javelins, you idiots! I think I told you not to. You're not even on fire at will. Stop throwing javelins! Goodness sakes, you're gonna kill my elephants. There we go. Syracuse captured. Got one Roman left, or two Romans left in the midst of this elephant dance party.
Victory is sweet indeed, and all the sweeter
Perfect.
for being so decisive.
I do like those voice actor lines. They are much fun. Okay, so that's going to do it for this episode. I think we got a good start going here to a Carthage campaign. We are in complete control of Sicily. We have an alliance with the Greek cities, who are also fighting against Rome, and I guess we've avenged them at Syracuse. So yeah, we've got some good stuff going on here. And now we are poised to kind of get Sicily all settled, hopefully, and then we'll be able to potentially invade the Italian peninsula. So yeah, we've done it here. How did the Romans already get their building? Or no, it's Greek port, Greek barracks. Okay, I was thinking, it's like, how did some of these buildings look like the Roman ones? And I was like, how in the world did they get their buildings there that fast? There's some busy Romans. Let's repair the walls. I'm gonna go ahead and get this temple to Melkort, and then we'll probably also queue up an execution square and other stuff afterwards. But there we go. We've done it, folks. We control Sicily, something Carthage never did historically. And we've put a beating on the Scipii Romans, who probably still only possess Capua at this point. I would say we're in pretty good shape. Carthage is doing quite well, and I will see you all in the next episode. Can't wait to show you more. HeirofCarthage, signing out.